Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Georgia.
And we got married on September the 5th, 2010. And we used Steve for a lot of different things.
Yes.
We first started off with Steve to do our engagement session photos. And that led into our wedding photos, obviously. And both experiences were tremendous. I can't believe the amount of detail that he picked up that I never thought I even would have seen. I was even there and I couldn't even see these level of details. And we enjoyed the experience so much that hopefully someday soon when we start a family,
we can use them for our baby photos. And I couldn't say enough about Steve. He was incredible, very down to earth. His pictures were phenomenal. He helped me out through the whole thing because, as you can see, planning a wedding is stressful. And I felt calm and collective, and he helped me out, and his pictures were phenomenal, and I can't tell you how great of a photographer he is, and definitely worth using.
So what we're here today is we're going to be looking at our engagement session photos, and what we ended up deciding to do, based on Steve's suggestion too, was we liked these photos so much we wanted to share it with people, so we actually made it into our sign-in book. For our wedding. We wanted to get away from the traditional book that basically is going to go into some sort of drawer, and instead Steve said, why don't you make it into a sign-in book? That way it's actually going to be a part of our centerpiece at our home, and that way people can enjoy what they wrote as well as seeing the pictures at the same time. And one of the funny things about this day was it was like in the beginning of July.
It was unbelievably hot.
And humid. And Steve came up, and we actually we went to the beach. We live near the water, and when we went to the beach, Steve was grinning from ear to ear, and he took shots not only during the daytime but as the sun set, and to try to capture the light. And by the end of the day, Steve had grass on his back and sand in his hair,
like
because
no tomorrow.
he was all into it, like commando style. So it was important to us to see before the wedding, by the way, that his level of commitment to us, and specifically obviously the end product. And when at the end of that day, not only did we enjoy seeing the pictures here on the wall, but at the end of the day we actually said we got the right guy, because he really enjoys what he does. And ultimately we knew based on the engagement session photos that we can go into this wedding fully having the confidence in Steve. So, want to look at the book?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So, there's a lot of choices in here that Steve brought out to our attention. Sometimes black and white works a lot better, sometimes color, sometimes there's other aspects of it, and specifically to be on the beach and get the different richness of the ocean was so important to us, because like I said, we live on the beach, and it's part of our lives, so to kind of show that to people is important.
And he captured every detail. As a matter of fact, when we were doing our session, there was a boat kind of far, and Steve was like, can you see it? And I go, no, not really. And then notice it was so far away that he actually captured not only us, but he captured like the detail in the background of the boat. And it happened, I was standing there the whole time as we were.
So those are the subtle details that we never saw, and we were there.
No.
And then eventually when we sat down, we're like, I can't believe you picked that up. But aside from the things in the background, it's just the level of detail, the way that George is sitting, with
he
her
made
arm
us do
around me,
all these different...
and not have the traditional look, but to kind of give it that
gestures.
fresh look.
It's unbelievable.
And here's a great example. Wasn't this like still daytime? It was just as bright as that.
Yeah, it was daytime, and he used,
certain colors.
The colors and just the aspect of it.
And this gazebo was maybe the size of this desk, and based on the camera angle, it makes it look like we're at the Parthenon. It was really neat, and he had a lot of patience too, because we wanted more than just one look. And
we did a lot of cuts. I remember I kept on saying, "No, let's do this again. No, I need my hair up." No. So he was really good and very patient, so it was great.
And I don't think I've ever heard the word no.
No. Mm-hmm.
You might have said maybe it worked better this way or that way, and ultimately when you have some trust like that, then you go with it. And I can't say enough. I think part of the stresses of planning a wedding is dealing with the unknowns. And after we did the engagement session photos,
We
this
definitely
is
knew he was the one.
this is not only quality enough for us to sit on our centerpiece, but ultimately putting it in magazines, for goodness sakes.
Some pictures were so great that people were actually telling me you should put it in a bridal magazine because it's so unbelievable.
And
because it's a memorable one. Because once that day is over, all you have left is pictures, and you want to remember and capture every little moment. And it's good to have the right photographer and the right ideas.
And aside from that, Steve's little quirks here and there that during the wedding he might be like, "Hey Pete, we'll kind of, if you want to get the cake cut in, this is the time." Oh yeah, you're right. I think he did a better job than the actual wedding planner at the venue. What do you think?
Oh, I definitely do.
So, it was one of the greatest things I think ever, and one of the distinct memories that I have is at the venue that we had. It was we were taking pictures by the waterfall in the front, and then we wanted to take a key picture on a bridge behind the venue. But we didn't want the guests to see us, so Steve put us into his convertible,
and drove us around.
And Georgia was in the front, I was in the back. The hair's flowing and all that. And Steve didn't care. He was like, "Whatever you guys want." And we hopped into his car, hopped us out, brushed up George's hair a little bit, the little things like that in a wedding, when you could turn around and say that a vendor would do stuff like that, and I feel kind of reluctant to say the word vendor because I think Steve's become more of a friend than anything else over the past year and a half at this point.
Which is very important, like I say. He just, it's good to have a good photographer to be there for you and to listen to you, and make things feel at ease. Because the day of your wedding, there's so many things going on, and sometimes you forget the little things, and that's why Steve was there to remember every little thing.
So I'm gonna stop saying the word vendor and just say a friend, and that's important because when you're discussing photos, when you're discussing which portrait, when you're discussing, okay, can we make this look like this? There's never a no, and I don't think many friends will ever, if you're a true friend, you won't say no, and I like that. And aside from that, one thing I asked Steve was to pick up the details that I won't be able to pick up on, and he said, "Don't worry about it." And sure enough, with my eyes closed, I wholeheartedly trust in.
For example, this picture, I remember there was so many people down by the park because it was a summer day and it was very nice out, and the way he just captured not only the sunset and the trees in the background, but he captured the mere fact that there's no people around, and we were the main focus, and that was unbelievable. Because you remember that day, it was crazy.
Yeah, I felt like we were in a photo shoot. People
everyone's stopping
as if we're celebrities. Take advantage of it. So it was
Steve,
good.
he enjoyed every moment of it, so it was great.
So, in closing, I really want to say thank you to Steve. Sedman Photography has treated us better than we could ever imagine. We have a lifelong friend that, like I said, God willing, George and I will start a family, take baby photos, christening photos, and God willing, as the child gets older, graduation photos.
Take more photos. Yeah.
And that goes a lot with me when I can say that, because there's a level of trust that I don't think you get from anyone, and specifically professionalism. And someone that cares more than Steve, I don't think is out there. So, good luck to all. And if this video helped, I tremendously would say thanks.
Thank you.
But other than that, you're not going to make, if any other decision in the wedding planning stage, this is
the best decision we've ever made.
And this is what we're walking away from,
And the portraits.
But at the end of the day, you can get the great photos. And since we talked about the wedding, we might as well show a picture of the wedding. Right? So,
and the great photos.
At the end of the day, flowers are flowers and food is food. But the lasting mementos and tokens is the photography. And something that, hopefully someday as our kids are going to look at and say, wow, we actually look good.
Good looking back then.
And I think Steve probably had a little to do with that too, making sure that we looked good.
Yeah, there was some touch-ups that I told him about, which is good. So he listened to me, which is great. So thank you again, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.